How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Therapiss. I'm a little tired right now, so sorry if I sound a little dead, but that probably will become a recurring theme throughout these videos. After the first introductory episode, I was wondering what to talk about next, and as embarrassing as it is to admit, I already kind of ran into a brick wall. Not because I didn't have anything to talk about. It's quite the opposite, because the only reason I even pushed through with the series in the first place is because I had like a good 10 at least different things I wanted to talk about. I had plenty of ideas for episodes and whatnot. And I wanted to take it slow and easy, but one thing I noticed is, as good as those ideas are, I was just kind of unsure as to where to start, because I gotta create some sort of, I guess, prototype, some sort of expectation as to what people are going to be getting from these kind of videos in the future. And it's really hard to make a good first impression. And then I realized maybe that's a good place to start. Whether you get a new job, new school, new whatever, starting over is quite difficult. For instance, even for this YouTube channel, I've had to start over multiple times. Not really by hitting the hard reset, but by changing my content and ditching my previous audience completely, which is essentially what I'm doing with Therapiss, because I had a somewhat, I guess, large influx of music audience from the, I guess, music review videos I used to make. Those may still happen every now and then, but I don't know. I don't really feel motivated to do those, I guess. I've moved schools a lot as a kid, and call me spoiled and whatever, but I think it definitely had some sort of an impact on me, who I am today, because I've moved school 5 times as of, I think I'm a high school junior, and 2 of them were international. So I've made a lot of friends, and I've lost a lot of friends, because I'd like to think that I'm extroverted. Sometimes it may not feel like it, but I think I am more on the extroverted side of the spectrum. Because I got my first cell phone really late, I think 6th or 7th grade, which I don't know, maybe that's normal for people. I lost contact with a lot of my old friends, which has led to the point of, I guess the oldest friends I still hang out with are from middle school, which isn't the most impressive, because I essentially lost all connections with people I've known from elementary and far back, which I don't know. I'm just realizing how young I sound, but that's besides the point. But every time I started over until then, I wasn't really worried about what kind of person I was presenting myself to be to these other people, because I think this is because of this more of a personal theory I think most of you can relate to, known as the second coming of consciousness, where I know we make these jokes about how at the age of 5 we just spontaneously gain consciousness, and we're suddenly aware of our existence and how we're gonna die one day and whatnot. But I feel at around high school, I think around freshman year, you really start to be aware of yourself as not as a person who exists, because we've already achieved that when we were 5, but more so as I guess a unit of society, where I don't know about you guys, but I really feel starting from freshman, I started to really grow more aware and conscious of what kind of person I was being to others around me. And even if you're extremely outgoing, which I was for the, I guess, the better half of my life, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, I grew timid at some point in terms of meeting new people. Not to say I'm extremely introverted. No, I still, think I can go up to new people, start conversations and whatnot, but from some point, you're just kind of scared that you'll mess up the one chance you have to show someone who you are. And if you can't leave a good first impression, they won't ever know who you are. They may be disinterested, they may fucking hate you, depending on how bad of an impression it was. And yeah, sure, some people may stick around, but I've also just found myself really addicted to the comfort of hanging around with the same people. And sure, that's nice, but I also have this weird pressure that I just feel I should be talking to more people. I should be get out of my comfort zone, talk to some new people, gain more experience and knowledge. Because now when you do personality inventory tests, the Myers-Briggs test for MBTI, whatever you know it as, and there's that question where it's do you like to talk to new people at parties? And truth be told, I've never really been to a party, because I don't know, that's not really that common in Korea, I suppose, or whatever. I used to just like check that off as yes, because that's like something I do. I just go to social situations and like talk to new people. But like nowadays, when I see that question, like I'm not so sure anymore. Like, would I go up to new people? Like, would I really like get out of my way to leave a first impression on these people? It seems a little scary because especially when you're at like a setting like a party, you want to be interesting enough, right? And I don't know, all these like kind of thoughts, self-awareness, the focus on the self, I guess, turn me a lot more timid than I have to be. And that's when I realized, that's completely okay. You don't have to be the most interesting person at the party. You don't have to leave a ridiculously good first impression on anyone you see. As a matter of fact, here's a case study. There's a guy I knew, I'll call him Jack for now. Jack left quite a good first impression on people. Many people thought he was a really likable person superficially, and this is backed up by the fact that he like managed to get like something ridiculous like 5 to 6 girlfriends in a matter of 2 to 3 years. But what I've noticed is he wasn't really able to hold any of these relationships because there's no consistency after like this initial strong burst of a first impression, because people would slowly get to know Jack and be like, wait, this isn't like the cool guy I thought this guy would be. Like, not to say, Jack is a fucking like douchebag or whatever, but it just leads to disappointment. You're just let down. So while it can be anxious about leaving a good first impression, what I've learned, over the years is that like as corny and cheesy as it sounds, it's best to just be yourself. I mean, which I understand is easier said than done. I guess one practical advice I could give is that it's important to have a good like mental idea of who you are and try and stick to this principle. And I'm not saying that it's bad to try and change and improve yourself when necessary, because you obviously want to be improving yourself at all times, but it also helps when you have like a good understanding of who you yourself are, like things like how you talk, how you laugh, what things you like to talk about, what kind of like things you like to wear, what kind of food you like, how you'd react to certain topics and information. Have like a good map of what you are like, and you should be able to like predict reliably like how you're going to react to certain stimuli. Because, if you don't know yourself, who are you showing others, right? So I don't know. I think more than anything, it's really important to have a good idea of who you are to be able to form stable, long-lasting, and healthy relationships. And, this is the point of the video where I give like the obligatory, I don't know, guys, I might be wrong, because at the end of the day, this is Therapiss. And more than anything, I hope this video left a good first impression. I think I rambled on a little too much. I wanted to keep it a little chiller, so sorry if you guys found that a little annoying. I will try to improve myself as I should. And you can choose to check back later to see how consistent the series ends up. But thank you so much for being here. This has been Therapiss, and have a great rest of your night.